We know this since we've had other people in here. This is about the only way we can get everybody together. So let me introduce Kendrick Shope to you. Kendrick, this is everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
This is our group. We are an interesting group of people from all walks of life. Our company has a very simple policy that everybody has a chance. We don't care where you come from. I don't care where you go to school. I don't care what your family life was like. I don't care who you know, who you don't know. I don't care how you dress. I don't care about any of it. If you have ambition and drive and a desire to do better for you and your family, this is a great place for you. If you don't, we're going to boot you in the ass and talk about you at the Christmas party, okay? That's the way it's going to go. Although we are trying to move a little bit away from that, and we're trying to get a little bit...
we're still going to talk about them at the Christmas party.
We will.
Let's just get that
There's a
clear.
file called Christmas file.
Did you see it on the server already?
Yeah. I was wondering what that was.
How do you have credentials to get into that file? Rich? Get rid
We're talking for an old client, that's all.
So Kendrick and I have become friends through our friends over at Two Market Media in New York, and Kendrick has a wonderful business in which she coaches strong, powerful women to be stronger, more powerful women, but not necessarily in the same methodology that we think. Kendrick's mindset is to, as a powerful woman, you should embrace your femininity, right? You don't need to be a man in the selling capacity. You need to be a very strong, powerful woman. And I think that's a unique message. And when we talked on the radio show 2 months ago, that really sort of opened my eyes to a new way of looking at it. And I thought it'd be wonderful for the group. And now we're going to do this webinar at 10 o'clock this morning in which we're going to explore it further. And then ideally, the webinar is to convert to Kendra's primary form of business, which is an online coaching program. So ideally, we want people who attend the webinar to buy Kendrick's program and become in her ecosystem on her monthly sales training program. Is that a reasonable description?
You did a
of it?
great job. Actually,
Okay.
could you tell my dad? He still asks what I do. You do what online? You run what? You make that much money? Wait, no, you got to be doing something wrong, illegal here.
No, Dad, it can't be that easy.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
But the point is that we have a great opportunity both for the ladies in our office, but also for the guys in our office too, because look, we're moving with the PI test that we're doing at lunch, and hopefully deeper, better discussions that are going on around here. We're trying to understand both ourselves and we're understanding who we're talking to, right? And I think it's very important. If you're talking to the F&I man, a female F&I manager at a dealership, she probably has no idea to look at her world the way Kendrick wants her to look at her world. She thinks she has to look at it as a hard-selling guy, male truck salesperson, F&I person. And wouldn't we maybe say that some of the female F&I managers that we talk to come at us that way?
Yeah.
Right? Well, if we now understand it through Kendrick's mindset and her version of it, maybe we end up talking to that person differently, they receive us differently, and now we have a relationship that she doesn't have with anybody else, all right? So let's rock and roll. How do you want to start this morning? How do you want to do this next 25 minutes or so?
All right, well, I got some questions.
All right.
So, thank you for having me here, first of all. I have spoken a lot of places. I've been to a lot of places. I'll have to say I have never felt more welcome than I do here. Rich and I were talking on the phone last night while I was getting my nails done. That's how welcome y'all have made me feel since I got off the plane. I'm sure you can hear all kinds of commotion in the background. Was that the first time ever that you've talked to somebody about technology while they're getting their nails done?
Pretty much. I was like, that's a party in a hotel room.
Yeah, it was loud. Those of you who've ever been in a nail salon, it was loud. There was lots of foreign language talk going on, and Rich and I are talking technology. So yeah.
Is he there next to you?
I promise not to divulge that. You know what happens at the nail salon stays at the nail salon. I can't share. So, all right. So I want you to pretend for a minute, and actually this is actually pretty true, but I want you to pretend that I'm a stereotypical woman, whatever that means to you. Good, bad, I don't care. Doesn't matter. You're not going to share it with me. But I need somebody to tell me what you do, because trucking, financing, I don't know what that means. So who's in sales here? All right, I'm going to call on a man. What's your name?
Andre.
Andre. Where'd you go to school, Andre?
Rice.
Rice. So I disagree with Matt. I think where you went to school matters. Because I am a University of Tennessee volunteer, and that is important. So I'm just going to put it out there. Rice, okay, great. I don't have any bad blood with you. So, Andre, tell me what you do every day.
So every day,
You know, I help customers, you know, build out their company. You know, my EOS is, I believe that everybody deserves to make money.
What's
So,
EOS?
Explanation of services.
Everybody deserves to make money. Okay, so get technical for me, because pretend I think trucks, money, dirt, hard hats, steel-toed boots. What do you physically do?
Right, so I get either a lead from a dealer or a previous customer and call them and ask them exactly what they're looking to purchase and why they're looking to purchase that equipment. And then from there, we get the credit application and look at the credit to see if we can actually get them approved. And then from there, we'll get a credit decision. So what I mean by, I believe everybody deserves to make money. So if I get the customer approved, I give them the terms and see if the payment will actually help them make money in their business. Now, on the flip side, if somebody is turned down, I'm gonna tell them how to improve their credit so they can not only get credit with us, but with someone else to help their family as well.
Great, Andre, thanks for going first. It's never fun to go first. So, Andre's the person to know, right? Like, if I want to move my business forward, if I want to make money in my business, I believe everybody deserves to make. What did you say?
Yeah, everybody deserves to make money.
Andre and I are kindred spirits, because so do I. So, okay, great. So let me make sure that I got this. So you get a lead, you make a phone call, and you see if you can help people finance their equipment. Is that accurate? Great. Somebody else in sales. I'm going to pick on the salespeople. Who else is in sales? Okay, great. What's your name?
Nick,
Nick. Where'd you go to school, Nick?
UNT,
Okay, great. I don't even know where that is. So what is it?
about 20 miles up the road.
Okay, great. Then you're okay with me. The minute I hear Alabama, I'm skipping you. Is anybody from Alabama? Okay, good. Then we're okay. All right, great. So we heard Andre's description of what you all do every day. So what happens once you're approved, right? So I'm the business, I'm approved, and now I get to go out and buy equipment. What happens? What changes for my business? Why does that matter?
Oh, well, I mean, it depends on what you need the equipment for, but usually it allows you to either open up new contracts, bring on new clients, and I mean, it helps you increase the volume of revenue that your company brings in.
Great. So we're still talking about money. Fantastic. Now, I have an 8-year-old little girl. Her name is Hallianna. And I want you to pretend for a minute that she's standing here. Because she's not going to understand your definition of what you do or your definition. She's going to be like, excuse me, you do what? What? So somebody explain to my 8-year-old little girl what you all do every day.
You make people's dreams come true.
Give people money, make people's dreams come true.
We help put the clothes on your back. We help feed you.
Oh, this is where I'm going, Kendra. I love it. So, yeah, at the end of the day, you help people make their dreams come true. You give people money, and that's fantastic. But what do they do with that money? They buy equipment. And what do they do with that equipment?
They feed their families. They take care of their life.
They feed their families. They take care of their wives. They ship equipment. They ship merchandise. What happens when you? I lost my train of thought. So, what type of equipment, Nick, do they buy? Give me an idea. Anything?
Dump trucks.
Dump trucks. Okay, give me something else besides dump trucks. That does not work with my analogy.
Tow trucks, over-the-road trucks, cranes. I mean, if it makes money for your business, then we help you find it.
Great. So essentially, you all are the starting point of, yes, somebody's dream, but you affect much beyond that business. You do the creep. This is what I call the creep. So what you do creeps out to every single human being on the face of this world, or wherever your customers are, nation, planet, sense, whatever. What do I mean by that? Because if they buy dump trucks, then they're essentially making the earth a cleaner place. Yes? If they buy cranes, then they are building. They are building infrastructure. They are building opportunity for people. So not only are you feeding their family, thank you very much, and allowing their children to have a better life, but also you're making the entire world a better place just by picking up the phone and working a lead. Does this make sense? Some of y'all looking at me like I got 5 heads. If it doesn't make sense, tell me. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Let's take it a little bit further, because I think you all are kind of like Santa Claus. And I flippin' love Santa Claus. Now, I know y'all have had Grant Cardone in here to talk, who is a sales genius I love, and I guarantee you Grant Cardone didn't talk to y'all about Santa Claus. So how are you all like Santa Claus? Anybody know?
We're givers.
You give? Great. What do you give?
Opportunity.
What else? Money. What else?
Make people's dreams come true.
What else? We're missing. So
Happiness.
The toy to your 8-year-old daughter on the truck.
there you go, yes. My house is a happy home when my 8-year-old is happy, and when it's not. If Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. No, it's if Halliana isn't happy, we got a problem. And so the equipment, or at least for some of your customers, the equipment delivers happiness. It delivers toys. It delivers food. It delivers product. You make the United States of America go round. Now, you may not know this about me. You have no reason to know this about me, but I started telemarketing. And then I graduated from telemarketing, and I sold building products. I sat in an office not near this school, and I called leads, just like what you all do. And I talked to them about plywood. And I gotta tell you, plywood is about the least sexy thing I can talk about. I talked to them about hurricane brackets. I didn't know what a hurricane bracket was. I talked to them about pressure-treated lumber versus non-pressure-treated lumber. And I was not sold. I was like, I cannot get in to this. Let me talk about my Jimmy Choos. Let me talk about, I don't care, but plywood? Yeah, what?
That's it, you can talk about those. Those are awesome.
But plywood? But I wasn't looking at the whole picture. So every day I would go in and I'd pick up that phone and I had to make those calls and make those leads, and I'm extremely competitive, so I wanted to win. I wanted to be the best. But I wasn't sold. And so we all hear this. You're in sales. You know this. You got to be sold on your product. Yeah, whatever. But this is fundamentally true for what you do, because the easiest thing to do is to get demotivated, right? Oh, God, I got to pick up the phone again? Are you kidding me? And 14 people have said no? So you have to remember that you're not just making people's dreams come true, although I love making people's dreams come true. You're not just giving that one business money, although I love giving people money as long as I get some too. Mm-hmm. You're not just, it creeps. There's a creep in what you do, and that creep affects every single person in this country. In Texas, in Tennessee, in the whole United States of America. You see, with plywood, I had to get sold on plywood. So I did what any good, southern, ignorant woman would do. I went and walked Home Depot. And I touched the product. I thought, I don't see what's so great about it. And so then I went to my manager and I said, look, I need to ride with a trucker. I need to see this product leave. I need to see it go. Well, I'm going to be super honest with y'all. That was an amazing experience. I loved wearing my hard hat and my steel-toe boots that I have never worn again. But I didn't learn a lot about the product. I got hit on a lot in lumber yards because I was 20 years younger and a whole lot prettier than I am now. So I didn't learn a lot. I learned that lumber yards were not my favorite place to be. So I went home and I said to my husband, all right, look, I've gone everywhere I know to go. What the hell does plywood do for me, and how can I get excited about it? And he said, you need to go volunteer for Habitat for Humanity to see what plywood does for you. And so the next Saturday, I built a house with Habitat for Humanity. And I didn't like it. I don't like to get dirty, but I saw what plywood does. Shortly after that, my husband had to miss the Tennessee-Florida football game because he works in logistics and transportation, and there was a hurricane coming. And I saw what plywood does for people. Plywood protects your home, your sanctuary, when the hurricane's coming. That's what you have to tap into here in Texas. It's not Dallas. I want to say Dallas, but here in Texas, when you're picking up the phone, you're not selling plywood, but you are selling the foundation on which this country runs. How my little 8-year-old daughter gets her toys at Christmas. How we get food. How we clean up trash from our beautiful environment. And so you're going to get demotivated. And anybody who tells you you're not is lying to you. And anybody who tells you you can come in here and go all the time is lying to you. They've never sold a thing in their life if they're telling you that. So I want you, from here, I teach a sales school, so I always give homework. Such a terrible word, but I want to give you some homework. I want you to write down on a sheet of paper something that you do, that is an extension of what you do, that creeps out into the whole fabric of the United States. Whether it's toys for your daughter, whether it's cleaning up because of dump trucks, whether it's dump trucks cleaning up this beautiful place, whatever it is, think about your customer. Think about what they've done with their equipment and how that affects not just you and not just them, but everybody. And I want you to write that down. You see, selling, I believe, is your obligation. Because whether you're in sales or not, selling is helping. And that's what you all are doing. You all are making everybody's existence a better place. And that's the most powerful thing you can do, short of loving someone on this planet. Does that make sense? Yeah? Questions? Oh, come on. This is not a quiet office. Talk to me. Somebody tell me something.
It's so true though. It's so true.
So let's try it. Who else is in sales? Great. Tell me one of your favorite customers and what they did with the equipment you financed.
I have a lot of favorite customers.
What's your name?
My name is Tim Baser.
Hey, Tim Baser. Where'd you go to
It's
school?
not Tim Baser, it's the Tim Baser.
Oh, the Tim
Utah
Baser.
Valley.
It's like, well, the real Slim Shady. Please stand up. Yeah, you're already standing. So where'd you go to school?
Utah Valley.
Okay, great. We can be friends.
Yes.
So tell me about one of your favorite customers then.
Yeah, Dick's Towing out of Washington. Been working with him since about 2002. Grown his company from, I think he had 15 trucks, now he has over 60. Does a lot of logging, does a lot of help. He's done a lot of parades for fallen tow truck drivers.
Wow.
So that's pretty impactful.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And so with logging, so he does logging with the trucks, right?
Yep.
So help me understand how this creeps. So how does that affect me in good old,
So let's say there's a lumber yard up there who's cutting trees down and one of their trucks tips.
yep,
He sends his trucks to tip them back up, make sure we get that lumber.
great. So we get the lumber, it's safer, it's cleaner. Am I on the right track?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's who you need to think about when and if, I'm sure you do, but you seem like a pretty, I'm getting this sales vibe from you when you're demotivated. So Matt talked about, I approach things differently. I approach things like a woman, right? And I do. I think women, I think we're up against some challenges that men aren't up against. I think that we are told that you gotta railroad your success. You gotta push, you gotta drive, and I'm all for drive. But I think that this mindset of how does what I do creep out into the fabric of America and make everybody's life a better place is a feminine mindset. And it's okay, guys can use that too, right? Tim just illustrated that for us. That's what you want to do. That's what I want you to do. So, anybody else want to share? Favorite customer and how their story creeps? Give me one more. I flew all the way from Bentonville, Arkansas, went to Atlanta, came back. Give me one more, somebody.
Marcos, you got tons. Marcos does a lot of construction work in here. And I mean, his customers are building Dallas, Fort Worth. They're the guys doing highways.
Who's Marcos?
skyscrapers.
Oh yes, Marcos, we met. I'm sorry. Hello. All right, so tell me, how does that creep?
Well, look, first off, I want to agree with your point, you know. I've always told Matt that I think there should be more women in here. I'm telling you. Let's put it this way. It's a very male-dominated environment, right? And so, you know, guys, I think, tend to break down and will open up a little more to a softer voice versus a rough voice, like, you know, what they're accustomed to hearing, right? And so I think it's an excellent opportunity in any industry, in any, you know, way, shape, or form, you know. As far as the success, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's determined by the person's ability, right? But from my standpoint, I mean, it's very much a thing that, you know, being Hispanic, very cliquey, right? Very cliquey people, very family-oriented people, very hardworking people, right? And so, you know, it's sad to say, but, you know, sometimes the guys that are out there making the money, right? They're not only supporting their family, but then they're sending money back home to support their other family.
Absolutely.
And their other families, right? So it's kind of a unity thing for me, right? I mean, I realize that, you know, what I do for this one person doesn't impact just that person, but it probably also impacts his mom in, you know, Juarez, Mexico, and his,
Absolutely.
you know, brother that's going to college in, you know, California or whatever, right? So.
And then it creeps even further. So yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that. But it creeps even further, because if your customers are building Dallas-Fort Worth, then you're giving me somewhere to go eat when I come to Dallas-Fort Worth. You're bringing money to Dallas-Fort Worth. You are bringing what, I think of restaurants. I've turned into somebody who likes to eat a lot. I used to not. But you're bringing places of entertainment, building, structure, whatever, and that creeps out into somebody that you never even touch. You never even know. Last night when I got to, I stayed in Dallas, the first thing I did was I went and grabbed dinner. Well, somebody built that restaurant. Somebody sold equipment or financed equipment to build that restaurant. I was starving. It was right across the street from my hotel. It was good enough food. But see, that person who financed the equipment never knew that there was going to be this redneck from Tennessee fly in and be starving and not want to Uber and not want to catch a cab. And thank God there's a restaurant right here where I can go eat a whole loaf of bread. Which I did. Does this make sense? Every flipping piece of it, and I don't feel guilty about it. I was that hungry. So somebody made a call somewhere, right? And said they followed a lead, they followed a prospect. And on the other end, these people wanted to bid a restaurant job. And they said, we don't have the financing, we don't have the equipment, we don't have the whatever. And the person on the end of the phone said, I can help with that. Next thing you know, there's a restaurant, everybody's made more money, dreams have come true, families have been fed, and when the redneck from Tennessee shows up, she's got a place to eat her bread too. All because you made the phone call. Now that's pretty powerful, y'all. Because I wasn't the only person in the restaurant. There were lots of people in there eating that good bread. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you connect to when you don't want to pick up the phone. And it's okay to admit, I don't want to pick up the phone. We all have those days. I say women are a mess of contradictions. You know, one day we may be Audrey Hepburn, and the next day we may be Janis Joplin, and the next day we may be, oh God, look out. And that's just the way it is. And that is actually scientifically proven, by the way. Women's brains change daily. Men's brains do not.
Amen.
So when your wife or your girlfriend or your whatever is acting like a lunatic, it's probably actually really biologically going on in her head. Now, of course, women, that doesn't give us the right to be a raving bitch all the time. But the point is, we're all going to have days when we don't want to pick up the phone. Connect to the creep. Connect to the redneck from Tennessee who needs somewhere to eat bread. Or in the hotel where I laid my head last night. And there you'll find your motivation.
So y'all, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right?
Oh.
I mean, the elephant in the room is the gender difference between selling. I mean, should you wear super high heels? Should you wear a short skirt? Yes. Should guys wear, should you wear, I mean, let's talk about it. Who said yes?
Who said yes? Yes, you should. Yes, you should.
That's not a hard answer. That's like an automatic. But here's the deal. Here's the way it plays out. I remember we had a social media salesperson come in here, and she was a lovely woman, and she, the minute she opened her mouth, she was a hard-driving man trying to sell us on social media. And it really turned me off. Now, I mean, it didn't have to go that way. So I think the message for the ladies in our office is embrace the fact that you are inherently different. That does not mean that you have to go to the extreme, right? And try to talk femininity to the man, but you have this incredible power. It's a greater power than the man has. It's the power to be beautiful and then also be ridiculously smart. And for the ladies in the audience here, that's a home run. That's predictable. You win. You'll beat me, and you'll beat Dre, and you'll beat the best in our office every day.
It's what I call the unadvantage. So, you know, lots of times I've been told, you're too southern, you're too feminine, you shouldn't wear heels that high. Mm-hmm. I've been, you know, women, we've been told all of that. But here's the thing, man, you got some advantages too. You can go to the bar and talk crap with your customers much better than I can.
Or the motor coach with Billy, what's his face?
There you go.
Bush,
yes, you can. You can have locker room talk much better. You can be a bad hombre much better than I can. So, but what I'm saying here is, and women be women, men be men. All you gotta do is look at us to know we're different. I'm gonna tell you three ways that you all sell differently. And it's scientific. This is based on Harvard research. Number one, women are more intuitive. You may absolutely know, I don't need to go for this clothes right now. Like, you know, other people may say, but the object of selling is to close. Okay, fine, it is, yes. But you gotta know when to close. So women are more intuitive. We are naturally more intuitive. Women were more social. This goes back to natural selection. Women, we stayed in a pack, right? While men went off and hunted, or at least animals did, while men went off and hunted. So we didn't want to get ostracized from the pack. We naturally selected to be social, and now we act like it's a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing. No, it's not. One of the things I can do better than I could do better than anybody else in Georgia Pacific was, I could tell you my customer's story. If they were a Duke fan, if they were a Carolina fan, if they were a duck hunter, if they were a deer hunter, I knew their story. So number one is it's what I call air. So aggression, I left out aggression. Men, you're more aggressive. Goes back to natural selection, right? We stayed in packs, you went off and hunted. It's okay, you can be more confrontational. You can push a little bit harder than we can, and science says you're gonna have success that way. So we're not talking about necessarily does one sell better than the other, although in a male-dominated world, yeah, women, you got an advantage, because you've got looks. But aggression, intuition, and relationships. Those are three key areas on how we sell differently.
I think when you put it all together at the high level of selling, if you're talking to a large company and the CEO of a large company, at the end of the day, it's somewhat irrelevant.
It is.
Right? Product, service, pricing, overall package wins. But when you're in our business, where you're not necessarily talking to CEOs of publicly traded companies, and you're talking to Bubba the trucker, or maybe Bubba the trucker's wife is really making the decision, Bubba's just signing off on it, you need to know this information. You really need to have an understanding of how this plays out. I'll never forget, many, many years ago, we used to send out this postcard. And on the postcard it said, it had this beautiful sort of secretary, scantily clad secretary dressed woman, and she had a clipboard and the glasses and the whole bit. And then it had the text box coming up here, and it said, "Did you know we did this?" And you turned it over and it said, financing, leasing, da-da-da-da-da, right? Obviously it was an attention grabber. We sent it out to everybody. All the banks called us and said, "Oh, that's awesome, we'd never be able to do that. That's great that you were able to do that." Our male customers called, and I got a handwritten note from a woman who, her husband owned a sewer pumper truck business somewhere in South Texas, somewhere, I think in between Waco and Houston. And she said, "I received your postcard. My husband drives the truck. I run the business, and I would never, ever do business with your company." And we immediately stopped sending out those postcards. Now today, we would probably get right back into sending out those postcards and say, "Good, you gotta have, Cardone says you must have haters before you can have them," right? But the reality is, it's going on. It's the elephant in the room in a lot of the conversations that are happening.
It is, and I'm kind of over it. Like, I'm kind of over dodging the ball and acting like we all have to be equal and we all have to be politically correct. No, I don't want to be not politically correct or politically correct or whatever. I want to treat people the way they want to be treated, but women, if we seek to be equal to men or to do it the way a man does it, you lack ambition. And I think we should accept that. And I think we should accept that, yes, there are differences. And I'm sorry, in my personal opinion, not that it carries a hill of beans, anybody that gets offended over a postcard, it's got much bigger issues. Like, seriously, come on. But I think that if you're going to sell, no, not I think, I know, if you're going to sell in a male-dominated industry, you do have to be tough. You have to be tough like a woman, not tough like a man, and there's a difference. You will get inappropriate things said to you. If you haven't, it'll happen. You'll get hit on. You go out and see the customer, stuff's, yeah, like I said about my first lumber yard, yeah, you get hit on. And so what? I can make a big deal about it, but if I don't fear for my safety, then let's just roll with it. I came here to make your dreams come true, not in that way, and I came here to make your business money. Let's get back to why I'm here, because at the end of the day, yeah, I may be a pretty face, and I may wear high heels, but at the end of the day, I can help your business, and ultimately, that helps the entire world.
That's strong. Hey, one last thing on that topic. You also work for a company that you don't have to put up with that stuff. So if you go on that sit with that customer and it doesn't feel right, you can punt. They'll never come back and hear us say, "Why did you close that?" Well, I felt great. Tell the guy to go pound sand, right? Pull the Mike Frankie on him. I'll tell you what the Mike Frankie is. Right? So listen, I hope it was beneficial, y'all. When Kendrick opened my eyes to this thought process, I just didn't, after all these years of selling, I just didn't look at it differently, right? I didn't look at it that there was a different way to sell to different people. It was always my way. And then conversely, it opened my eyes on how to buy too, and what I'm looking for from a buying standpoint too, right? I want to make sure that my needs are being, my needs are.
Yeah, I know. You get into all these like this, yeah.
Is this what happens at the end of what he said?
Yes.
All right, let's hear it for Kendrick. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
All right, cool. Anybody with any specific questions for Kendrick? Anything? Elephant in the room type stuff. How would you handle this? This happened to me. What may I have done differently? And the good news is a lot of our stuff is done over the telephone. So perhaps the customer is a little bit more polite over the telephone than maybe if you were in there. I'm just throwing out suggestions here. But hey, by the way, it goes both ways, y'all, right? I mean, I'm sure there have been a few guys in this room that called on a few customers and maybe felt a little uncomfortable too, you know?
Absolutely.
Dre.
Absolutely. I worked with a guy, he was on my team, this is a true story, on my team as pharmaceutical sales rep, and he actually was a descendant from the royal family from Ghana. He didn't tell people that, but our boss told us that, and so we would call him Prince Prempe. Well, that got out to our nurses, and so our nurses heard real life Prince, and I was in an office with him one day, and I turned around, he was gone. And when we got to the car, I said, "Leroy, where did you go?" And he said, "Kendrick, the nurse literally pulled me in the sample closet, shut the door, and kissed me." And I'm like, "No way, Leroy, don't believe it. Did not happen." He's like, "I swear to you." I'm like, "You could not have overpowered the nurse." And he's like, "What was I gonna do? How am I gonna overpower the nurse without getting?" I mean, it was hilarious. So yes, I'm sure it happens. One other story, phone story, and then I'm done. So when I was selling for Georgia Pacific, I had a customer, we called him Long Island Larry. And Long Island Larry came with a reputation that he hated Georgia Pacific. He did not like females. And he was not ever going to buy from us. So what did I do? I sat down and he was one of the first people I called. I did a little bit of research to find out why Long Island Larry didn't like Georgia Pacific, and they messed up a delivery. It's the same story. You know the trucking story. Same story. Delivery didn't get there. He was pissed, whatever. So I called Long Island Larry and I said, "I'm Kendrick. I'm your new sales rep." And his exact words were, "Damn if they didn't give me a Georgia peach." Now I know what Long Island Larry meant in that. I got another woman. I got a Southerner on top of that because he was in Long Island, New York. And I said, "You know what? Actually, sir, I'm a Tennessee hick. And if we're going to do any kind of business, you need to get it right." And I hung up on him. Long Island Larry became my #1 customer. He loves me. To this day, my old boss calls and says, "Long Island Larry wants you to give him a call." I'm like, "No, not happening. I love him too, but I'm done with that world." So, you gotta stand your ground, right? Whether you're male, female, or whatever, you gotta be willing to do that at the end of the day.
All right, cool. Thanks. Let's wrap it off. Appreciate you, Kendrick.